when it
guys,
comes to
this. I
dating
want
and
you
when it
guys to
comes to
understand.
money.
I'm going to upload this. This is really female logic. This is really what it is. This is really what it is. She thinks she's really making points.
I am. Mr. Samuels. I wholeheartedly, I really feel like men are greedy. Men are really out to get. It's to the highest bidder. Whoever has the most value, whoever parents, whoever family comes from the most fortune, that's the woman that wins. I have worked so many places before I became a
This
social
is why
worker,
women shouldn't be
and
in charge of nothing.
can I?
Hola a todos y bienvenidos de nuevo a mi canal Red Fem Diaries. Hace muchos años sentí la necesidad de aprender el idioma español. Había tanta gente a mi alrededor que solo hablaba español que sentí que la comunicación sería mucho más fácil si aprendía. Descubre que traducir un idioma es la parte más difícil. Hello all, and welcome back to my channel, Red Fem Diaries. So many years ago, I felt the need to learn the Spanish language. There were so many people around me that spoke only Spanish that I felt communication would be a lot easier if I learned it. I found out that translating language is the most difficult part. That's what I said there, guys. So I'm going to do something different here on this channel, and I always tend to do something different. Most people on YouTube, they do reaction videos, and so a lot of, YouTube channels have really sprung up off the backs of many from the Manosphere, specifically Kevin Samuels. And all you got to do is just react to all of his videos, and you're going to get like thousands of subscribers right away because he's what's hot right now. Typically, I don't react, well, not typically, I don't think I ever have reacted to his videos. I've definitely brought him up in a couple. My very first video was a letter to him, but my channel is definitely not built off of commentating on his channel. It's just not necessary. There's so many others that do it, but I'm going to step out the box. I'm going to do that right now, but I am not actually doing a reaction. I'm going to do something different, y'all. I'm about to translate. Just like how I translated my opening, my hello all, Red Fem Diaries, into Spanish and my first things, I am going to attempt to translate a conversation between a Mr. Kevin Samuels and this modern day woman. It's one of his later videos. He did this on his Instagram live stream, and I came across it on YouTube. And I'll be honest with you, here's how I am. The same way I can speak English fluently, and I'm okay at Spanish. I understand the basics, but I get Spanish. So I could say, and so to speak, I'm bilingual because I know a lot about Spanish. I'm able to speak to my patients in Spanish. I don't need to get a translator when my patients don't speak English. So in the same way, I have a little bilingualism when it comes to communication between the black man and the modern day black female. There's two different conversations and two different languages going on. So sometimes when I would hear Kevin Samuels speak, he is speaking from the point of view of a man that understands the female mind, but he doesn't have a female mind. So there's some gaps and there's some things that females won't understand because he's not a woman, he's a man. And then when the women react, because I also have a female mind, which is like spaghetti, in this video I'm going to show you guys, he is speaking the gospel truth. The woman's mind is like spaghetti. A man's mind is more compartmentalized like a waffle. He is speaking the gospel truth there. But I'm bilingual, so I understand a spaghetti mind because I have that. But for a woman, I have a very logical mind also. And so I'm going to say this one time in this video. I'm not going to keep repeating this. As I speak, I'm speaking in generalizations. Most men understand that, women don't, because of our spaghetti minds. But I'm going to say this. Not all, but most. As I'm speaking about women and men, I'm talking typically about the modern day woman, Not every single one, but generally speaking. So I get upset with that because no one understands. Well, it's not no one, women don't, because our minds don't work that way. So that's why I'm going to do this translation video. This is going to be tricky, y'all, but I'm going to try to y'all just walk with me. We'll get through this. I'm going to try to phrase this dialogue that these two had in a way that the woman can understand the man and the man can understand the woman's mind. Now listen, the woman that he's speaking to right now, she has a degree, she's a social worker, she's educated. Kevin Samuels, I mean, he's popular on YouTube, millions of subscribers. I mean, these are the experts. They know what they're talking about. I am Red Femme Diaries. As you all know, we are special needs. We are struggling up over here. But daggone it, I have a constitutional right to speak my mind. And so I want to try to dissect this conversation. So this is my intro. Here we go. I'm getting ready to start in just a minute. This is long. So this is for my truck drivers that are subscribers. This is going to be a long one because I'm going to really bust up this conversation so that we have understanding, so that we can bridge the gap between the more constructed, more logical, more factual male mind and the spaghetti, crazy, modern female mind. Keyword is the modern female, because women, we were always not like this. We always have the potential to be like this, but we've let women do what they want, and this is what happens. So here we go, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and I probably will talk to you when it's over. All right, here we go.
And all this stuff.
Hello, Mr. Samuel. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. How old are you?
I am 29.
All right. So, what are we talking about?
Okay, Mr. Samuel, I just heard you say, you know, if we just give men what they really want, then we will be able to um be married and have a good life with the man. I disagree. Um,
All right. So we're 35 seconds in, and she already disagrees. Before we go on, I can tell you exactly why she disagrees, because she unfortunately is unable to give men what they want. And in her heart of hearts, she knows that. But the way the illusion works is we need to be able to sleep at night. So we tell ourselves certain things, especially women, to help ourselves sleep and be okay. Basically, what men want, and Kevin Samuels will indeed tell her later on, is that when men want women that are fit, friendly, oh goodness, child free. I forgot the other one, but and well, of course, attractive. That's what it is. We've always known this for all of eternity. Why is this particular woman struggling with that? She thinks that if you give a man all those things, feminine, fit, feminine, submissive, no children, all those things, that somehow that's not good enough for a man, because a man might still step out. So here's how you talk to a woman with her spaghetti mind. You have to talk straight up. Oh no, actually, let me shut up. I'm going ahead. Let's play a little bit more, and then we'll dig deeper into this. Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go.
um,
Do you have any
I'm a,
children?
I do. I have a son.
And were you married?
What was I married when I conceived him? No.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I disagree because I'm a social worker, so I'm in the helping field, and I was just got out of a long term relationship, and before, well, when I was in a relationship, he would tell me, you know, okay, I want to go back to school, I want to pursue my degree, I want to finish, I want to finish my degree. So I thought, like, okay, great, let me come up with a plan on, let's see how we can get your degree, let's see what type of money we got to put in for you to do these. But when it came down to it, that's not what he really wanted to do. So it's
Hold
like,
on.
All right. So, okay. Man's mind, you guys probably already caught that. She was talking about let's see what we can do, and she's trying to guide this this man, and she authentically in her mind thinks that that's what she's supposed to do. She thinks that you're supposed to take a man and build him up and lift him up, and one day you'll reap the rewards. And I understand that train of thought, but I guess what I'm trying to get a lot of women to understand is, listen, you qualify for what you qualify for. In her particular case, she found a guy that wasn't, there yet, and she thought that she could guide him and direct him, and that just does not work for so many different levels. As a woman, we can't respect you if we have to guide you. But on the other token, as women, we need to know our role and our place. And that when we become the helpmeet of a man, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. He's going to make great decisions, he's going to make bad decisions. But our role is not to guide him, like what she's saying. Our goal is to be a helpmate to him through the ups and downs, because the weight is not on our shoulders. She doesn't understand that, but Kevin Samuels is, I think, it's almost like he assumes that she would understand these things, and she doesn't. Because as you'll hear later, she was raised by a single father, and for the reason in the Black community, we have not passed this knowledge down. So let's keep listening.
Hold on. Are you judging all men based upon what you're talking about?
I'm not, but
Are you
what
sure? Are you sure?
I'm
Because you said you
positive.
did. Okay, you say you disagree, but I allowed you to speak, and you spent the better part of a minute describing your situation.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying at first, like I'm a social worker, so I work with a lot of women, and I work with a lot of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
single women.
But did you ever get the father side of the story?
No,
Thank you.
I when I
I'm
say I
sorry.
work,
Hold on, man. You get one side. There are three sides: hers, his, and the truth. And guess what? I can pull up video after video of women breaking the law, lying, and females believing it. 70.
All right, so that was very important right there. Okay, so this is a social worker. Okay, we got to think this through. Social worker, she's dealing with lots and lots of single mothers with multiple children, because she's trying to get them government aid and this sort of thing. What women tend to do, and I know Kevin knows this, but I'm just making it a little bit clear so people understand. Women by nature, we have sort of a victim mentality because we are indeed physically weaker. We're emotional. So we automatically, like, that's why they say women and children first, because we're the most vulnerable. And so this woman is listening to single mothers all day, and all she hears about is the complaints of their child's father, and what their child's father didn't do. And so this is ingrained in this woman's head. And then she listens to media that talks about women's empowerment and all these different things. And so, yes, Kevin Samuels is explaining these things to her, but you have to make things like this crystal clear to these women, because they they can't figure this out on their own, so to speak. The reality of it is, wherever this woman works, the majority of the women that are in her social work office are single mothers. These are women that chose to have a child before they were married, because the reality of it is, typically speaking, once a man makes you his wife and he makes a choice to implant his children into you, and he wants you to be the woman to bring forth his legacy, more likely than not, he's going to stick with you. She doesn't understand this world. Her mind is cemented in a world where women have babies first and expect for the man to step up, but it is highly backwards. But she doesn't know that. So right now, Kevin Samuels is pretty much talking a story. So let's just take a look here.
Right?
Hold on. Such a struggle channel. I know. We'll start
Women
here.
sob stories. And you cannot be an intelligent person and tell me just because you're a social worker, hearing one side of the story, knowing you're a single mother predisposed to having a heart for women, that you're getting a balanced picture.
You know,
Logically, logically tell me that's what you're doing.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not only am I a social worker, I am a female, and I do work with a lot of single women that I have
A
seen.
lot of single women who choose to marry before they carry, do things out of order, and you don't get the father's story, right?
I'm speaking about dating, Mr. Samuels.
No, ma'am, I'm speaking about you're trying to set the table in a bullshit way. Do these women in social work come in here and they're married women who have children as a result of marriage and their husbands are still around?
Some, yes, sir.
Some, what percentage? 1 in 4 black women were married. Careful.
Married about 6%.
So 94% of these women aren't.
Yes, sir.
So when you say some, I don't understand why y'all do that. Some, if your kid came home and said, Mom, here's my grade, and he gave you an F minus, he said, Boy, you didn't get nothing. What did you do? You got an F minus? I got some of them right. You got 6 right, but you got 94 wrong. You'd be like, oh, okay, so you got all right. You're already starting off wrong. And
See that right there. If you look at her face, she throughout the entire interview, she's going to have this smirk on her face. Like, although Kevin Samuels made an amazing point right there in explaining women have a hard time with understanding the exception and not the rule. So, like he said, okay, you got 6 right. So she's going to look at that instead of looking at the majority. Look at that little smirk there. Let me tell you, she's not listening to a daggone word this man has to say, because she came on to this live stream um, not in good faith. She has what she has in her mind already. She's here just to be on live and for whatever her little reasons, but she is not here to learn in any means. And so that's why they have this back and forth. Now, Kevin Samuels, I understand. He's a content creator, he's on social media, so he's allowing this to go on. But my issue and where there's a problem in communication, a breakdown in communication between the black man and black woman, um, is because she would have to be told straight up what the deal is, but no one wants to tell her this because it is painful. So I'm going to say it right now, even though it's not nice, but it's the truth. This is an average woman. And so just so you guys understand, I did do a video where I showed my face. So go look at the one, there's a hood with a question mark. So I show my face. So I am not speaking this as some drop dead gorgeous woman by all means. I'm an average, basic, regular woman. So I understand that average, basic, regular women get average, basic, regular men. An average, basic, regular man is going to make like around 40 something dollars and they'll have an average, basic life. She, as average as she is, those average men are so low to her that she doesn't even consider them. Every time she's talking about men, she's talking about men that are in the upper 1 to 5% that she simply does not have access to. Now, Kevin Samuels has done this before. We talk straight up, but it's like you set the world on fire when you tell the woman the truth. It's the worst thing ever. But let's keep going. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll keep going.
tell you, in your relationship, you were wrong too. Let me tell you why. Because you said he decided he wanted to go to school. So something like that. He wanted to go to school. And
He
immediately
wanted to
you pulled out your
finish
dick.
school.
And immediately you pulled out your dick. And immediately you pulled out your penis. You started figuring out what to do and how to this and how to that. Da, 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 da. That ain't your job. It was for him to figure it out. He just said, what do you want to do? Did he ask you to go do all that? Did he say, I want to finish school? Did he ask you to go do all that? I hear you. Thank you.
He didn't ask her, but she did it anyway because she doesn't understand her role. Okay, so here's a little secret, ladies. for the ones of you that are a bit challenged. There are many times where you're going to be right. You're going to know the right way to go, but here's the thing. You still are not the man. You give your husband suggestions. Hey, babe, what do you think about this? He says yes or he says no, but we're a helpmeet. If you ladies could understand the weight that will take off of your shoulders instead of trying to run everything, like in this particular relationship, okay, he's trying to go back to school, we can do this and that. She's trying to figure all that, and she's probably upset because he wasn't doing it. You're helpmeet. That's how we do not have pressure. So when he messes up, it's not on you. It's on him. You're his helpmeet. That's it. You're not running ship. Now, if you choose to run your own life, by all means, but leave men alone. Okay, let's keep going.
Put up your dick. So, I mean, just saying, many of our women, you're listening to 94% of women by your stats who aren't married, who are living at a level where they need social work. And you expect to hear good stories about men, and you don't even pay attention, and you don't listen to the father's standpoint. Well, I tell you what, Miss Social Worker, why don't you go interview the fathers to understand what they're dealing with these mothers, because they can't all be angels.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, are you saying that men are not consumers? Where in the world, if you give a market what it wants, does it not buy it if you can afford it?
Well, that's even with me. With if I go to dealers, if I go into dealers and I get in the dealers and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this perfume. Like I got my mind set, I'm gonna buy this perfume. But if nobody's actually selling it to me, or if I don't feel like I want to spend my money in this store,
Okay. All right. There goes a woman's, like literally, we're seeing it in real time. Kevin Samuels is using what's called examples, analogies. In the Bible, they called it parables. That's using real life examples to explain a certain scenario. A woman's mind, like literally, she doesn't understand. She talks about like all she hears is going shopping. She is unable to understand the example. So listening to this conversation is very frustrating because it's, oh boy, this female doesn't understand. She literally is thinking about an actual shopping trip where Kevin Samuels is thinking of a bigger picture, but she simply is unable to do that because that's a woman's mind. Let's continue.
No,
I'm not
you
gonna
change.
do it.
Excuse me, man. You changed it. See what you did? If I go into Dillard's and I already got my mind made up, and they don't have it, or I
It's
don't
not
have the
that
money.
they don't
Excuse
have it,
me.
if they don't sell
Excuse
it
me,
to me.
man. I want you guys to understand. This is what they do. This is how their logic works. I said, where do you go if you give a market what it wants and it has the money to purchase and it doesn't buy? You just made up a story where I'll go to Dillard's and I got my mind made up. And that's the problem. Most women don't buy what they should buy. They buy the motherfuckers they make babies with and come into your office needing help with. That's what they do.
Okay, total confusion right here. She didn't catch any of that. Because her mind is still in Dillard's. She's thinking about shopping, so she's not relating the two at all. The fact of the matter is, and here's what she's avoiding. What Kevin Samuels is saying is this: if you give a man what he asks for, fit, feminine, beautiful, attractive woman, no children, all these things, a woman will have a good life and a good husband. The problem here is, and she realizes this in the deep recesses of her subconscious mind, she is unable to give a man the majority of the things he asks for. She's already had a child. That's already a strike against her. A lot of women don't want to admit that, but of course it is. You know, that means a man has to take on a whole new child, and these women don't understand that because it's been shoved down their throats that it's okay. Okay? I'm just kind of looking at her. She doesn't look so fit. And I'm not going to do this whole video because it's long, but she's not that cooperative. So essentially, she can't give a man what he needs. So she tries to blame it on her social economic upbringing. It's so ridiculous, but she's kind of grasping at straws, which is what most women do because they live in a world of delusion. Because of Disney and propaganda, women simply do not like or accept the truth. So let's continue.
Instead of shopping at dealers, they should have been somewhere else. Man, you're putting the problem on men. There are not enough men. You're saying that men would not make a lot. Why? Okay, then why? Let's play it the other way. Then why would men, if women were offering men in mass in general, what they wanted, why would these men choose to remain single?
I think greed. I really do. I think greed. I think, I can get something from her, but let me see what she has to offer. Let me see if it's just a little bit better.
See, guys,
Okay, so before he goes in, see, her world is very tiny and small. If I'm not mistaken, she's from Mississippi. So in her world, she's dealing with a lot of men that probably aren't doing too well in life. And so these are the type of men that live with women. It'll be a woman that has her own place and he'll live off of her. He has multiple baby daddies, but he has some sort of swag or good sex, whatever it is that he has. Here's the thing here. She is so blinded to average men, the same way that higher value men are blinded by her. They don't see her. She doesn't see the average man, the man that she should be with. So I guess they see these like hood superstars, like this guy with so many different women. So in her crazy mind, she thinks that that's the key to getting a man is to be high status, come from a good family, because typically higher value men, they are definitely going to want a woman that came from a good family, that's, from, upper echelons, whatever. I'm not that, so I'm not tripping off of that. But that's what she sees because if it's not that, then we have to start looking at your looks. And that's something she can't control. She's average, but she doesn't want to accept the average man. That's the problem. And that's what we're not really fully saying. Let's continue.
see what you're doing. You see, women think because everybody will fuck them, they think men have a free sexual option. How does the average man have greed in the sexual marketplace? You know how hard it is for most guys to get laid. Thirty
I
percent of
don't. I
excuse
don't.
me, excuse me,
I've
excuse me,
never heard
excuse
anybody.
me. 30% of men, 30 or under, report not having sex. 30% of men under 30 are virgins. But you can have somebody like Gabrielle Sidibe. And what do women say? Somebody will fuck her because somebody will. Women think there's something called attraction symmetry. They think just because they can go out and offer their vagina to the market, they know somebody will take it. If I walk out and offer my penis to the market, somebody will. But will as many people? How about this? If you go in a room of 100 men and say, "I'm clean, I got no diseases. I just want to hook up one night stand, no string, no attachments." Out of 100 men, how many think they're gonna smash?
If we got 30% of virgins, then
No, no, no.
Yep, see, here we go. We're doing it again. Like, legit. She doesn't understand. Her mind is so closed off to the concept of just the average man. The average man might be under 5'8". He might be a shorter guy. He might be unattractive. He might just make $15 to $20 an hour. He is so non-existent to her that she can't even fathom it. And it's sad because back in the day, a woman like this would be happy to have just an average regular man because they can still build something. But that's not what she wants because this woman is filled with propaganda and delusion. How it's literally the same. Let's you remember that guy that played in Different Strokes? His name was Arnold Gary Coleman. You know what I mean? Like he had a lot of issues before he passed, but it's like him demanding, a supermodel or something like that. We all clearly know that that's just not how it goes. you get what you could get at your level and you be happy with it. But average men are so low to her that her mind can't even fathom that 30% of men are virgins or can't get sex because her eyes are only for the top men. The men that probably do want beautiful men, women that came from good homes and all these things, but that's all she sees because she looks down on that man. Kevin knows this, but I think there's an assumption that she must understand this, but she does not. Let's keep going.
No, you mixing things. Don't play games with me. Put your 100 men in a room, 100 men, not 30% virgin, just 100 men. How many gonna smash?
I don't know, Mr. Samuels.
Really? Just give me a number. Heterosexual men, no, you want to have sex, you clean. How many men you think will smash?
Maybe 80.
All right. And if I put 100 women in a room with the same kind of man, average man, how many women you think gonna fuck?
Maybe 60.
Okay, so she's full of garbage right here, and if you look at his face, he knows she's full of garbage. She literally can't help herself. I just kind of brought it up how she doesn't even consider the average man at all. That is garbage. But I'll let Kevin Samuels take this away.
Guys, that's the problem. They think. Excuse me. Look in the comment section. I understand, man. No, when it's over, women think it is easy for men to get sex, as they think it's just as easy for men to get sex as it is for them, because women only think about when they talk about the sexual marketplace. You talk about the men you're interested in, not 100% of men. If 60% of men were out here anyway, so no.
No, see, this is where he stops. He goes, anyway, no, that needs to kind of be hammered into their heads because they honestly don't understand. Women like this, the majority of women, because of all the propaganda, they literally are looking at the top 1, 2 to 3% of men. That's all they consider. There's so many men that are eligible that they would not even look or consider. And so he kind of blew it off, but that's very important. Let's keep listening.
That number is high. I would say closer to the best pickup artists. The best pickup artists, the guys who have all the game, who study this stuff, report a 10% close rate. 10. And these are the guys who are the game masters.
Okay.
So you're saying that if you offered men an opportunity women were offering men what they wanted, and they didn't have to be in the game anymore, you're saying they would stay in the game because of greed, implying they could get more.
Yes, sir.
They don't get it, guys. They don't get it. They don't get it. No, ma'am. I just told you that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. How?
She is legit confused. She really is. Because like I said, she's an average woman. If she picked a guy that was making like $20 an hour, like a normal guy, probably a shorter guy, not necessarily the most attractive, he would work hard, take care of her, love her, everything. But that is not going to be good enough for this woman. Even though she's an average woman, she thinks that she's entitled to so much more. So that's why she's having a hard time with this. Kevin Samuels is spitting facts, but I think there's a gap here because he understands where she's coming from, but I don't think he quite gets how deep it is in a woman's subconscious. Those other men are invisible to a female like this.
How can guys, if 30% of men aren't having sex, why would they stay in the market if they were getting what they want from a woman?
To gain more.
More of what? What are they already getting if they're virgins?
We're not talking. We're not gonna
No,
talk about the 30.
no. We're going to talk. No, yes, we are, because they are part of the 100. And see, that's the point. This is so foreign of a concept. No offense, man. I really mean no offense. But your mind can't even wrap your head around the concept. It doesn't even compute with you. It's like, well, I don't want to talk about that because that's so far outside of my realm. And all the men are like, what are you talking about? That's the real world. You can't get rid of the 30. That's there. So if 100% of men are out there and 30% under the age of 30 aren't having sex, if you gave men what they wanted, which is just a fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless companion, women were saying, okay, the majority of us are that. You say men would say, instead of taking you and going off and having consistent sex in a relationship, I would rather stay out here dating, spending my money, time, and opportunity for the possibility of sex. The possibility.
We know all men are not spending their money on women to have
Ma'am, I
sex.
don't, I don't, I don't really give a shit about the money aspect. See, you've
That's the
lost
part
art.
of the
No,
day.
no, no.
That's
But the thing is, I'm not trying to be funny. That's not the point. The point is a bigger point. The point is you have just demonstrated why there's such a disconnect. You ladies have no idea what it's like to be a man.
Okay, he spoke some truth right now, right there. She surely does not. She has literally no idea. Here's what happened. I think we've gotten so submerged into social media that it's become such a big part of our life that we almost forgot what life was like before. A woman like this decades ago would absolutely understand her place and role in society because she didn't have social media with hundreds upon thousands of people telling her how beautiful and how wonderful. Now she's a black queen, she's a goddess. She wouldn't have had that. So she would have been very clear about her place in society, not because of white supremacy, but even men would have told her that. She may not have been the first one picked at the dance and all these things, and because she didn't have social media and filters and all the weave they have on lashes to kind of, y'all thinking, well, she doesn't have any. Yes, that's a weave. This is not her hair. We didn't have these things and likes and all these things back then. So a woman understood her place. So when there was a man that was an average, normal, regular man, that the same way she was an average, normal, regular woman, it wasn't a problem. She was happy to have him. But now the ego of the woman has really been pumped up in society, so much so that you have created this great chasm between men and women that a woman like this, a basic average woman, does not understand her place. She thinks that she deserves a Prince Charming, perfect man to come in and sweep her up. And some woman right now is thinking, well, why does she not? Well, does the man then not deserve a beautiful princess then? Right? Or is that all fairy tales? Every woman is not a beautiful, gorgeous princess, and every man is not a Prince Charming. Most of us are regular people, and we marry regular people, and we build a legacy. But the woman's mind is so confusing that the powers that be have been able to, is beguile a word? Anyway, what Satan did in the garden to help deceive the woman so she could deceive her husband is happening right now. And that's literally what you're seeing right before your eyes. This woman is deceived. Kevin Samuels knows it, but it's hard to explain. If he tells her straight out, the conversation would end in 5 minutes. It would be over. He would say, look, lady, you're an average woman. You'd be happy to get whatever you can get. Click and hang up the phone. So that wouldn't make for content. So here we go.
You are so disconnected from us because all your life is spent around talking to women and listening to their stories and everything else. And when I tell you about what's going on with men, you still think that, well, that's like this. That's like this. Okay, change it from men to women. You're hungry, right? You ever been to a restaurant and there was a wait and you're hungry, right?
yes.
All right. And there was this 2 hour wait, and the next closest restaurant is 40 miles away. And
Okay.
it's gonna be a wait there too.
Sure.
You sitting there waiting, and then they come along and say, "Well, we can sit you and your guest not at your favorite table. We can sit you at this booth, or we can sit you at the bar, and right now, or you can wait 2 hours. What do you do?"
I'm gonna go sit at the bar because I want my
Thank you,
food
because
quick.
human beings are. Thank you, and that's exactly what men are doing. If you give men what they want, how they want it, they'll sit at the bar. They won't wait to go. have a chance to sit in out there or go to another restaurant. Thank you for making the point that you understand human beings operate on incentives.
Okay, Mr. Samuels, actually, she does not understand that. That was about as clear as day. I get it. Even Jesus Christ himself spoke in parables so that we have there's like spiritual things that he would give earthly examples so that we can have understanding. Unfortunately, this completely went through one ear and out the other. The woman's mind, not saying all, not all, not all, not all, but most, their mind isn't able to take that example and translate that to reality. So we're going to hear that right now. She just is unable to do it. And I get Campbell Samuels because it's very simple. The analogy made all this in the world, but not the sister. So that's how, as you listen to her, you start to get confused too. It's not you. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how men operate too. Men will say, if you give me what I want right now, I don't need I'll take the bar. The bar is a woman giving men what they want. They won't go out here and say, well, I'll try for a better seat. Does that make sense?
This a restaurant, of course. We're gonna move faster with a
Holy
restaurant.
shit.
But
Holy
if a
ma'am,
man wants to
ma'am,
go see
ma'am,
their
ma'am,
favorite,
ma'am, ma'am, ma'am,
Mr.
ma'am.
Samuels,
No,
I'll
ma'am,
let you
no. No,
talk.
you go.
See, we're seeing the breakdown right now. She legit. Now, no, get me wrong. The crevices of her mind, she absolutely understands that analogy, but she has to stay in delusion because if she admits that I'm unable to give the men what they want, a beautiful, submissive, feminine woman with no children, she's unable to do that. She has to sleep at night. So she has to stay in the delusion and she has to pretend like she doesn't understand what he's saying. And maybe she doesn't understand. Kevin Samuels is getting frustrated because that was a very clear, easy example, but she's rejecting it. I'm translating, y'all. You see your girl? I'm trying. Okay, let's keep going.
Let me talk. It's my show. But no, you're acting like. Do you understand why people use sports analogies to explain the complex concepts?
That's
Do
where I'm
you?
from. I do, yeah.
Because people can relate. I used the restaurant analogy because the sexual marketplace seems to be outside of your ability to relate, but you can relate to a restaurant. And now you're going to tell me, no, those things are different.
Mr. Sammy, when you used your analogy, when you used your point, when you say if you walk in the room and 100 men in there, how many do you want to have sex? You took the 30 out of it. So when it comes to my example,
No. I said if you walked into a room with 100 men and you said I'm down to fuck 100 of you, how many would smash?
but you took the 30% of virgins out of that
No,
100.
ma'am. That's the okay. That's the sex.
See, uh, are y'all confused? I am. And this is what they do, and they can't. She literally, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Her mind is so confused that she can't help but bring confusion to the conversation. I completely understand what he was saying, but this is what they do because you have to understand she has to keep her delusion up. She's got to go home and sleep at night. So she has to be deluded. And so I honestly don't know what the heck she's talking about here, but I'm trying to translate. So let's keep watching.
To a marketplace, there's a millions. And even, okay, let's take it that way. Even if it was 30% virgins, those virgins would fuck you. If you were offering free pussy to a virgin, no cost, no zip, are you crazy?
She's
So
crazy.
it's not. And then that there goes to show you again your other point is invalid when it
No,
comes
it's
to that.
not.
When it
Guys,
comes to
this. I
dating
want
and
you
when it
guys to
comes to
understand. I
money.
really, I'm going to upload this. This is really female logic. This is really what it is. This is really what it is. She thinks she's really making points.
I am. I am Mr. Samuels. I wholeheartedly, I really feel like men are greedy. Men are really out to get it's to the highest bidder. Whoever has the most value, whoever parents, whoever family comes from the most fortune, that's the woman that wins. I have worked so many places before I became a
This
social
is why
worker,
women shouldn't be
and
in charge of nothing.
I mean, he's speaking the truth right now. She's so in her feelings and her emotions. You know what I mean? Because she literally all she has to do is accept the fact that she's an average woman and she'd probably get an average man. But the kind of man that she wants, she's definitely not going to be the type of woman that they want. The same way that she doesn't want the men that she thinks lower than her. She's definitely a product of this modern age and social media conditioning. She's confused. I absolutely agree with Kevin Samuels here when he says that this is why women cannot be in charge of anything, because everything is looked at through a lens of emotion. It's very sad actually watching this. The other sad part is that she, like I said in the beginning, she did not come here in good faith. She had her talking points, she had what she believed, and she just wanted to express that. Her mind was absolutely closed to gaining knowledge or understanding from Kevin Samuels. She wanted it to be her way. This woman is not fit to be a wife. That's simply what it is. And so instead of her admitting, I'm not fit to be a wife, let me add this. She's not fit to be any man's wife. Even the man that is, 4 feet tall and making 40,000 a year, she's not even fit to be his wife. She's not fit because she doesn't get it. She's looking at marriage and all these things that have come up for her. But Kevin Samuels isn't saying it that clear to her, so she doesn't understand. I'm going to do a little bit more and then I might make this a part 2 because your girl's getting a little tired. Let's see.
can I finish?
Oh, don't do that. This is why
Okay.
women should be in charge of nothing. I'm serious, man. You're talking about a out of men, 100% of men. What percentage of men are you talking about?
I'm talking about 75% of men.
So
See, see, it's a complete delusion. She doesn't understand. She's talking about maybe 1 to 5% of men. She doesn't even understand because she thinks she qualifies. She does not. Hey,
ma'am, the 75% doesn't even line up with 30% of the virgin. You can't be greedy in a virgin.
But you just said that if I was to walk in a room and the 30% of virgins was there, the virgins would have sex
Ma'am,
with
do
me
you
for free.
understand? Do you understand an example and a close? Okay. See, there's something called like an example where you put in like a little test case over here, and then there's the real world. You're an educated woman. You should be able to bounce between these concepts.
no, she's
You're
not
trying to make
able.
it all the same thing. This is what I told you guys. Men's minds are like waffles. We can compartmentalize and logically move through things. 1 0 1 0, open, close, on, off. We can do that much easier. Women's minds are like spaghetti. Everything touches. The logic runs through their feelings. That's why she keeps saying, I feel, I feel, I feel, I feel. Because to them, it's all one stream of consciousness. So to her, she really believes she is just on this logical path. And she doesn't realize that all the men are sitting back saying, you're talking about a small set of men extrapolating it out to all. Men are greedy. How can men, the average black man in this country earns $42,000? Okay? That's $21 an hour. How can a man who's average earner be greedy in the sexual marketplace?
Because they date women that have money. So when they date women that have money and they date women that comes from a family with money,
The
that
average black
family.
woman in this country earns $37,000. So fully 50% of black men, 50% earn 42. 50% of black women earn 37. 74% of black women earn less than $50,000. And you're talking about these people who come from families and money. 80% of our children are from single parent households. You are talking about the top 10%. And you're talking about it like it's 100%. The numbers are against you.
The numbers.
Oh man, please don't. Please don't.
Okay, y'all, that's all I can handle. Like, There is going to be a part two to this one because there's still like 20 more minutes of this, but there might be a part two, there might not, but this is quite frustrating. But I did my best to try to translate, but essentially the translation is this: a woman's mind is a very confusing, tangled place. And even the most basic of simple logic sometimes goes right through us. Now, if you're a woman listening to this and this is not you, then don't take offense. If you are taking offense and this is not you, then this is you. If that makes sense. But yeah, you see his face right there, the frustration. But I think at the end of the day, you have to talk just straight up clear with this woman. Essentially, she doesn't qualify for the type of man that she thinks she wants. She probably wouldn't even be able to handle that man anyway. She can't even look at that 30% of men that are virgins or can't have sex because they are so beneath her. But yet, guess what, honey? You are beneath a lot of men. But she doesn't grasp that because she got an education. She has a social work degree. So she thinks she's in the same caliber as the type of women that get the higher value men. But saying this doesn't sound pleasant in this politically correct society. So things are all screwed up. God bless you, Kevin Samuels, because you're really trying. We're going to do a part two to this later today. I don't know if I can handle hearing too much more of this. So anyway, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. This is Red Femme Diaries. See you next time. Goodbye.